Close your eyes. Picture your childhood home. Now open them. Because what you just saw never actually existed the way you remember it. Your brain just lied to you. Think about your most cherished memory. Maybe it's your first day of school, a family vacation, or the moment you fell in love. You can see it clearly, can't you? The colors, the sounds, perhaps even the smell of that moment. It feels absolutely real. But here's the unsettling truth that neuroscience has proven beyond doubt. That memory you're holding onto so tightly is not a faithful recording of what actually happened. It's a reconstruction, and every single time you access it, you're fundamentally changing it. Your brain doesn't work like a video camera storing pristine footage in some neural archive. Instead, memory operates more like a Wikipedia page that anyone can edit, except in this case, the editor is you, and you're doing it unconsciously every time you remember. When you recall an event, your neurons fire in patterns that approximate the original experience, but they're influenced by everything you've learned since. Your current emotional state, other memories that have blended in, and even suggestions from others who were there with you. This process is called reconsolidation, and it's been demonstrated in hundreds of laboratory studies. Each time you retrieve a memory, it becomes temporarily unstable, malleable, vulnerable to modification. Then it gets stored again, but not as it was originally encoded. It's saved with all the new information, emotions, and distortions that just occurred during recall. The memory you access tomorrow will be subtly different from the one you access today. This isn't a flaw in your cognitive system. Evolution designed memory for utility, not accuracy. Your brain prioritizes helping you navigate future situations over preserving perfect historical records. The irony is profound. The memories you revisit most often, the ones you treasure and retell, are precisely the ones most corrupted by this process. The past you think you're preserving is actually the past you're perpetually rewriting. In the early 1990s, Elizabeth Loftus conducted an experiment that would fundamentally challenge our understanding of memory. She convinced a quarter of her participants that they had been lost in a shopping mall as children, a traumatic event that never actually occurred. These weren't gullible or suggestible people. They were ordinary adults who, through careful questioning and subtle suggestion, came to vividly remember an entirely fabricated childhood trauma. They described the fear, the strangers who helped them, even what they were wearing that day. Their confidence was absolute. Their emotional conviction was genuine. The memory felt completely real because to their brains, it was real. This phenomenon isn't rare or exceptional. False memories are disturbingly easy to implant and remarkably common in everyday life. Research shows that approximately 70% of people can be made to remember events that never happened through relatively simple manipulation. You might remember being at a family gathering that you actually missed, or recall saying something at a meeting that was actually said by a colleague. These aren't lies or fantasies. Your brain has genuinely created a memory trace that carries all the phenomenological markers of authenticity. The mechanism behind this is both fascinating and frightening. Your brain uses the same neural pathways to construct false memories as it does to encode real ones. There's no special tag, no neural signature that distinguishes fabricated memories from genuine experiences. When you imagine an event vividly enough, when you hear a story repeatedly, when someone confidently asserts you were present for something, your hippocampus can weave these suggestions into a coherent narrative that feels like lived experience. This has profound implications beyond the laboratory. Innocent people sit in prison because eyewitnesses swear under oath they remember faces they never actually saw. Families fracture over events that may never have occurred. Your entire autobiography, the story you tell yourself about who you are, may contain chapters written by imagination rather than experience. Imagine you're recalling a conversation with a former partner. If you're retrieving this memory while feeling angry, your brain doesn't simply access a neutral file and present it to your consciousness unchanged. Instead, your current emotional state acts like a filter that selectively amplifies certain details while suppressing others. That ambiguous comment they made? In your current angry state, it now seems clearly hostile. The tone you remember shifts. The intentions you attribute to them darken. You're not deliberately distorting the past. Your brain is automatically integrating your present feelings into the memory itself, and when that memory gets reconsolidated, It's permanently altered by this emotional overlay. This is called state-dependent memory reconstruction, and it's one of the most insidious ways your mind betrays historical accuracy. Neuroscientists have discovered that the amygdala, your brain's emotional processing center, doesn't just react to memories, it actively modifies them during recall. The emotional context of remembering becomes woven into the fabric of the memory itself. This means the past quite literally changes based on how you feel in the present moment. The implications are staggering. That childhood you remember as uniformly happy or traumatic, it was almost certainly more nuanced, but your current emotional state has been retroactively painting it with broader strokes each time you recall it. Depression doesn't just make you feel bad now, it reaches backward in time, recasting your entire history in darker tones. Similarly, when you're in love, you may genuinely remember your partner as having always been perfect, forgetting the early red flags you definitely noticed at the time. This creates a disturbing feedback loop. Your current emotions alter your memories, and those altered memories then reinforce your current emotional state, which further distorts future recall. You become trapped in a cycle where your past is continuously rewritten to validate your present, making it nearly impossible to achieve objective self-understanding. The autobiography you're constantly revising isn't just incomplete, it's being ghost-written by your feelings. Picture yourself on a witness stand. You're absolutely certain you saw the perpetrator's face for several seconds under streetlight. You'd stake your life on this identification. The defense attorney challenges you, but your confidence never wavers. You remember those eyes, that jawline, the specific way he moved. How could you possibly be wrong about something so vivid, so important, so seared into your memory? Yet statistical analysis reveals a chilling reality. You probably are wrong. DNA exoneration data demonstrates that approximately 70% of wrongful convictions, later overturned by genetic evidence, involved mistaken eyewitness identification. These weren't people lying or guessing. They were absolutely convinced, just like you would be. The psychology underlying this catastrophic failure is both well documented and deeply troubling. Your visual system captures far less information than you consciously perceive. Your brain fills the gaps with expectations, stereotypes, and post-event information. When a police officer shows you a lineup and you pick someone, your brain immediately begins constructing a memory of that person as the perpetrator, regardless of whether they actually are. Each subsequent identification strengthens this false memory. By the time you testify in court, months later, you're not remembering the crime, you're remembering the photograph from the lineup, consolidated through repeated recall into an unshakable false certainty. Research by Gary Wells and others has shown that witness confidence is virtually uncorrelated with accuracy, yet juries overwhelmingly believe confident witnesses. The combination is lethal. A cognitive system that generates false certainty meets a legal system that mistakes confidence for truth. Cross-racial identifications are even more unreliable, with error rates approaching random chance, yet witnesses report equal or greater confidence in these cases. Every day, someone sits in prison because another person's brain constructed a compelling narrative that felt like memory but was actually fiction. The terrifying question is, how many times have you been that confident about something you were completely wrong about? Here's what you need to understand. Every memory you have, every story you tell about yourself, every grudge you hold, and every nostalgic moment you cherish exists only in this present moment, as your brain reconstructs it right now. The past isn't preserved somewhere waiting to be accessed. It's being created, edited, and rewritten every single time you think you're simply remembering it. You are not the sum of your experiences. You are the sum of your current interpretation of experiences that may never have happened the way you think they did. Your identity, built on memory, is built on quicksand. And the most disturbing part, you'll never know which memories are real and which ones your brain invented. You can't trust the very thing that makes you who you are. That feeling of certainty you have right now about your past, that's not evidence of accuracy. That's just your brain's most successful lie. The question isn't whether your memory has lied to you. The question is, what else has it convinced you is true?